All right, so I sort of screwed up with this review. I should have had this done a while ago, but things happen, life happens, you get busy with work, travel, things like that. So these sort of got pushed to the wayside. Plus with the Avata 2 release, it got very, very stressful and I had to make a decision of what video I was going to release first. And obviously I was really excited about the Avata 2, so that got pushed to the front of the line. That happens. Anyways, today's video, we're gonna talk about my long-term thoughts on the DJI Power 1000 and the DJI Power 500. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I know that this is not a sexy topic, right? Like power banks, power storage solutions, they're just not an attractive thing to talk about. And if you look anywhere on YouTube, you can tell just by people's views that nobody gives a single shit about either of these two devices. Not because it's DJI, just because it's not something somebody wants to have to buy. Buying something like this is a need, it's a necessity. It's something that you have to buy in order to do a job. And anytime somebody thinks about it, they're like, it's fine, I don't really need it. But I will tell you that I have used the living out of both of these. These have been absolutely invaluable to me and to my business. And in this video, I don't want to get knee deep into the specifications on them because there's tons of videos that will bore you with the specs on both of these. Instead, I just want to talk about how I've used them, how they have performed for me specifically, and why you may want to consider these if you're somebody that is in the DJI ecosystem. So first things first, I've had the Power 1000 for the past 5.5 months. I got it at the beginning of November, late October, and at the same time, I ended up purchasing a Kia Soul for my business. I needed something in order to be able to keep batteries, gimbals, and drone stuff charged while I was on the go in between shoots. So as luck would have it, DJI offered to send this over to me in order to take a look at. They're not paying me for anything that I'm saying here, nor are they seeing this video. And if they do see this video, they will probably not be happy how I'm reviewing these because I'm not reviewing them to the guidelines. There are guidelines for all reviews and I'm probably deviating, but that's just me. It wouldn't be me if I didn't deviate in some capacity. So this is sat in the back of the hatch of my Kia Soul. Now this year in Florida, it's been cold, it's been hot, it's been really, really weird. It has been one of our coldest years yet. I did take this up to the mountains where we saw temperatures of about 15 degrees, which was pretty cold for me, obviously being a Floridian, but more so any battery will struggle once you get below 20 degrees. But I was happy to see this perform exceptionally well. It was able to still maintain its charge. We were still able to power laptops, iPads, cameras, basically all the essentials we needed to do the work on some of these Airbnbs that we were filming, which was more than enough for me. One downside of the Kia is there's no external adapters to be able to charge, meaning I don't have a power inverter like I do inside of my Jeep. My Jeep has a plug in the back where I can plug in batteries, laptops, things like that, which is really super convenient. Kia does not have that. They do have some AC adapters, or I should say DC adapters in the front for cigarettes, but you're just not gonna get the same power. So having something like this in the back where we can charge batteries was really convenient. Another nice thing is that never once throughout even the hot times have I heard the fan spool up on this. It's very, very quiet, which is nice because we've also used this to power these lights for interview style shots in abandoned houses or even in newly constructed homes where they have not yet finished running power. We do construction updates all the time for clients, so being able to plug these lights in to run 2 lights off of this was pretty damn impressive. And like I said, it also was very quiet because having good clean audio is also something that's very important to me. All right, so in late March, DJI sent this, the Power 500, and I was like, Christ, I didn't even get a chance to review this yet. They're already sending me this. But little did I know how much I would actually enjoy this. Again, having that little hatch in the back of the Kia means I have limited space. And at the time, I was still lugging around the DJI Ronin 4D, which took up a huge chunk of space in the trunk of my Kia. Then when this came, I was like, okay, this is a good option. This still fits with the big case that I have for the Ronin. And I can still put my gear bags and everything else while carving out a little bit of space so I can charge drone batteries on the go. So I started transitioning over to this, and if I had to say as far as charging goes, this I was charging twice a week. This I'm charging every other day. So the 500 I charge every other day. This I was charging twice a week. Now, a unique thing about both of these battery devices is the fact that you can bring power back into the device as fast as you want or as slow as you want. There are switches on the front of these that allow you to toggle on how fast these devices will charge, which is really unique. Not a lot of devices offer something like that, so it's cool to see that that's here. One other thing that I love about this is that the power inverter that actually converts AC to DC to charge the batteries is internal, which means that inverter that does the conversion is all enclosed inside of the unit, meaning that you will not need another adapter, another DC adapter to convert, or another AC to DC adapter, that's confusing, to be able to charge these. I'll tell you a fun story about Jackery. About a year and a half ago, Jackery sent me one of their large battery banks. I was supposed to review it. At the time, I was using an e-board from Evolve. Now, the Evolve e-board's AC adapter looked very, very similar to Jackery's adapter, and if you put them side by side, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. However, the barrel adapter was just slightly different on the Evolve adapter versus the Jackery. I accidentally plugged the Evolve board adapter into the Jackery and blew the front IO completely off. It sparked, blew up, burnt the whole piece, burnt all the tech in there, and I was like, holy crap.
I plug it into the
Scary, scary things. I thought I was gonna set something on fire or at worst shock myself, which I'm lucky that that didn't happen, but it could have been a really bad situation. So with the way this works is you basically are going to have a power cord that plugs into the front here, much like you have on a computer or a TV, and it's just gonna plug right into the wall. Again, because that entire conversion is happening internally, it makes this a much safer experience. Now, the battery chemistry has also been improved, so instead of having a lithium polymer battery, it's a lithium it's a crazy word. I can't even remember the word, so forgive me, but I cannot remember the word. It's LFP, lithium, I am going to butcher this. It's lithium ferrophosphate. Ferrophosphate? It's LFP, but anyways, it's a much stronger compound and it allows these things to be charged at a much more frequent rate than lithium polymer. So you can get about 4,000 cycles out of these batteries before you're going to notice a massive hit. So, and even after that point, they say they should be able to maintain at least 70% charge, which I think is pretty damn impressive. Now, DJI also did ship me some accessories for these. I gotta be completely honest, the solar panels are still in the freaking box. And there's a reason they're still in the box. I test things and I use things how I'm actually going to use them. And I've never found myself in a stationary spot where I'm gonna set up solar panels. And I'm just not going to test something if I'm not actually going to use it. I feel like I'm having motion wanker PSD here. Because when I test products, I love to test products how I'll actually use it. I have to believe in a product in order to talk about it to you all. So if I don't necessarily feel like I'm going to use it, you're not going to see it here on this table. So that's why those are still in the box. Now, with that being said, during hurricane season, which is coming up here in late summer, there may be a need if we should happen to lose power to utilize these and then be able to recharge these via solar. If that should happen, I will definitely keep you guys updated, but as of right now, I just haven't found the need for the solar panels. One other decision factor you may think about if you're choosing either one of these, while the IO ports on the front of these are very, very similar, there are two SDC ports on the Power 1000, meaning that you can use double the solar panels than you can on the Power 500. So that may be an added benefit to somebody if that is something that is important to you and you want to try to capture all of the sun, all of the glory of light, and just convert it into energy. Then you would want the Power 1000 and get two solar panels. Now the solar panels are sold separately, as are all the accessories for these, which I think is great because that also helps keep the price point of these relatively affordable. We'll touch on the price briefly because prices are always subject to change on any tech product. They always run sales and things like that. One other accessory is they did provide a cable. This is the Mavic Air 3. This is the Air 3 charging cable. This plugs into the SDC port and allows you to fast charge your batteries. You can only fast charge one at a time unless you have two of these, and then you, of course, you can, fast charge two batteries on the Power 1000. But this cuts your charge time in half, up to 18 minutes, and charge time is reduced, which I think is fantastic. Now, I did crash my DJI Air 3 a couple of days ago. Last Sunday, I crashed it. I think a hawk took me out. I'm not 100% sure. It went tumbling down into like one of the worst areas, a super undeveloped piece of land. I couldn't locate it. I tried flying the Mavic 3 Pro around, trying to find it. I couldn't find it. And I figured after crashing at 286 feet, it was probably destroyed anyways, so probably needed to buy another one. However, I did have a Specta drone with me as well. The downside with the Specta is you can't buy batteries anywhere else. You only have one battery. So being able to use this to recharge it and recharge it efficiently and quickly was super nice. So if there's something that to be said about this, recharging batteries 18 minutes faster, I will take that all day long. I don't know what it is percentage-wise that they charge, but it is a noticeable increase as far as charging rates go, which is pretty damn nice. Overall, if you had to ask me which of these is my favorite device, I'm going to say the 500, only because you get the same amount of IO ports minus one of the SDCs. You get similar voltages. Listen, I'm not going to be over here mixing margaritas, putting blenders, running power tools, having a space heater running off this. I'm not plugging a freaking fridge into this. Like, I'm sure you can, and people have claimed that they have, but I'm not going to do those things. I'm going to use this to power my tech when I'm out and about. And the 500 does that handedly. You're definitely gonna have more than enough power out of this while also saving space. So if you're just going for a day trip or going somewhere that doesn't require a lot of power, then you're gonna probably wanna lean to the Power 500. If you're gonna go somewhere like maybe for a couple of days and you're gonna know that you're gonna be out in the field, then maybe you're gonna wanna get solar panels. Maybe if you're going camping or something and you have the capacity to bring something like this, maybe the Power 1000 better suits you. But I think for most drone pilots, this is gonna be where it's at. So the question is, why would you buy these with so many different options on the market today? And it's because they offer some of the things like the fast charge capability. There's a switch on the front of these that allow you to toggle on how fast they charge. So when I leave my studio at night, I will sometimes charge this one and I'll charge it slowly because I know the next morning when I come in, it's gonna be ready to go. But let's say I forget to do that at night and I need to charge it fast. I'm usually processing files over by the computer in the evening. I'm gonna simply toggle this over to the fast charge sequence, let it charge as fast as it possibly can, take it off, probably 45 minutes later, and I have about 80 to almost 90% of battery there. You can charge it in up to almost 70 minutes fully, completely, which I think is pretty damn impressive. So for me, I lean towards the Power 500. I think it's my favorite device of both of these. But again, there are gonna be needs for both. I have beat the living out of both of these. You can see scuffs and scratches on these, and yeah, they've worked flawlessly and they've just sat in the back of the Kia. As hot as it is, I haven't had any problems. You probably shouldn't leave them in an enclosed car for long durations of time. I can't imagine that's gonna be good for the batteries long term. But I digress. That is what I have done, but don't do what I do. That is not a good idea. But anyways, so overall, I'm impressed with these. Are they the best options on the market? No. If you're somebody that is not in the DJI ecosystem, these may not be the best choice for you. But if you're somebody that owns DJI products and you want to be able to fast charge their products and you want to try to keep things future-proof, then these will be the best options for you. And no matter what drone ends up coming out, these adapters can always be updated for the next drone that comes out. So I'm really excited to see what other accessories they bring out for these. And I really do feel like they're rounding out their ecosystem very efficiently and effectively, which is the most important thing. So again, not trying to sell you on these. If you own DJI products, you're probably already considering something like this. If you don't own DJI products, I'm not gonna try to sell you on why you need these. And again, I didn't really even tout very many specs, like the fact that this is 1024 watt hours and this is 512 watt hours. You can check some of the links in the description for those videos that go knee deep in the weeds on specs. This is for the average Joe. This is the average Joe review of my experience 5.5 months later. There you go. That's gonna do it for this video. As always, stay original.
Checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me. My attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me. My successes only made them envious. They got upset.
Hey there, drone fans. Ken here. In today's video, we're gonna review the Power 1000 and the Power 500. He gets that so well. What's up, guys? Billy here. What's up, guys? It's more of like a huh, huh, huh. You gotta really huh. What's up, guys? No. Hey guys, Russ here with 51 Drones, and today we're gonna review the Power 1000 and take a look at the Power 500. Why do I always make him sound like a stoner? Every single time I make him sound like a stoner. Who's somebody else that does that? Hey guys, Jake Sloan here. I'm a solo creator out here in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. By the way, did I mention I'm a solar creator? I'm a solar creator. I'm a solar creator.